And welcome back, guys, to another episode of Ramblings in the Basement. We're doing ASMR version. So
yeah, welcome back, guys. I don't know. Ivancito, I guess.
Ivancito.
I don't know.
Wait, you want to change your name now?
I don't know if we're still introducing each other ourselves.
Oh yeah, theory. You know, the two of us. Roll call. We always got to give a roll call, just in case someone's not watching on the audio, on the video. I mean,
just in case we're not here.
They're just listening, you know.
Yeah.
They want to know who's listening. They don't want to guess. Cause sometimes you could just tell just from the voices.
If you listen for a while, you should know now.
Yeah, if you don't recognize my voice, you're not a real fan. So
you're not an OG. You're not from here from day one.
No, but you know what I realized is that we could actually start uploading the videos to Spotify.
Oh, we could do that finally?
We could start doing that.
Oh, so we got it on YouTube. Look, we got it on YouTube, and it might come to Spotify. Stay tuned.
Yes. But look, I was thinking we should wait on Spotify so we actually have like a more professional setup. I don't know about you.
Okay.
But I feel like I would prefer to have like a real setup. YouTube is like, I don't care. YouTube, it's there.
I care.
People could watch.
I care.
You care?
Yeah.
I mean, I care too, obviously, but...
Because whoever watches actually go watch our videos.
Yeah,
so
please. I mean...
Sometimes they prefer to watch it.
I get it. Like, it's there for... Some people want to watch it, so it's there. But I would prefer...
It's for you.
If we're going to start putting it on Spotify... Spotify is like a more professional platform, I feel like. In my opinion.
Especially for like podcasts and everything.
Yeah, I feel like you have higher expectations on there.
Like, you see our background right now? It's gonna change eventually. Right now, we're working on a new...
There's too much reflection of light with that white.
Yeah, we're trying to
look at me rhyming. Look at me rhyming over your shit.
We're gonna try to change up the setup and everything. So hopefully everything comes out good. We're trying to make a shed. I don't know if we talked about it.
I don't think we have it. We've announced it. We've been talking about it behind the scenes, but we haven't. I don't think we've said anything on podcast. But yeah, we're working on getting a shed at my place in my backyard because we got the space for it. So we might get a shed.
Yeah, we live I live in the neighborhood, which is HOA. Yeah. HOA, is it?
I mean, you're the one affected by it, not me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, HOA, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Homeowners Association.
I like them. Fuck them. No.
So I like them, but fuck them.
Nah, I don't know.
So never mind. I don't like them. Just fuck them.
It's just, if you ever get a place where it has no HOA.
Yeah, you gotta get your own place. Yeah, I love that.
You can do whatever you want.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Build whatever you want. Especially if you're a creative person, you like to build stuff.
But yeah, so we're basically gonna have an actual podcast studio. So that's something to look forward to. But in the meantime, this is where we're at.
This is what we have. This is what we're doing. So
just work with us. Bear with us. It's coming. It's in the process. We're working on it. We're getting better equipment too. You know, just finished setting the bank account up for the podcast. So now we can actually start putting money into the bank account and start buying shit for it and take this seriously.
Yeah,
this is gonna get big. So
yeah, we're gonna probably eventually be selling merch.
Oh yes, and
all that.
Ivancito. We already set it up. I actually already set some merch up. I designed some. I've been using a backpack to bring in all the supplies, so I figured let me make an actual backpack for the merch. So I'm excited for that shit because it actually looks pretty nice.
We got hats, I'm not gonna lie. Shirts.
We got hats. We got shirts, hoodies.
But it's not gonna come out for for a while. We're just seeing how everything.
You might see us repping it for a bit before it comes out. I'm excited because that shit looks actually pretty nice in my humble opinion. I designed it, so I don't want to.
I see some. Never mind. I like them. I fuck with them too.
It's like the little rib logo. But y'all will see it when you see it. And look, y'all's thinking about making a little badge too, like a little stitch on badge, so that way you can just put it on wherever.
Dude, I can't. The badge.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I'm excited for a lot. So
you'll see whenever we get them.
But big things coming for the podcast.
We haven't really been keeping up. Haven't letting you guys know about it as much. But
yeah, we've been doing a lot of shit behind the scenes. That's on us. I feel like. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I feel like I just cut you off.
No, you're good.
But yeah, I guess. That aside, you had a little story you wanted to tell us. about why you're hurting right now, why you're in pain. So,
okay, yeah, I got a knee brace right here, guys. I don't think you guys can see it in the camera, but I got a knee brace. I went to go play soccer, and I was a goalie, and I accidentally stepped wrong, and I bent my knee pretty bad. So that's for that. And then
that's part one.
Part one. And then another one was I went to my. I don't know if I want to talk about this here.
No, you change your mind?
Yeah, I think so.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, there's nothing for them to know right now.
You're the one that mentioned.
Yeah, okay, I did.
I just want the people to know I wasn't trying to pressure him into sharing any personal information. He was the one that wanted to share it.
You know what?
And he's backing up. So y'all don't try to pressure him either. So if you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to talk about it.
We'll talk about it eventually one day, but just
maybe when he's comfortable talking about it.
Yeah.
It just happened yesterday.
Little teaser.
But, right, something to look forward to. Something to spam him in the social medias. Yo, Yvonne, talk about the story. They don't even know what the fuck it's about.
They don't. So that's why they can't really do anything. It's a story. Yes, you'll find out.
The funny part about that is that if you really wanted to, you could just make up another story and say that's the story, and they would never know. Just like, yeah, it was that was a story. Just a completely different story, but yeah, it was a story I was talking about. They would never know. So, is he going to tell you the real story ever? Who knows? So, get inside of their heads now.
Right. There you come. It may come next podcast. It may not. It might not even come out. I might not even tell you guys ever. Shit. You never know. Maybe I'm going to tell you this podcast and forget.
I left my water over here. Let me just grab my water.
We got to stay hydrated.
Yes, stay hydrated.
Drink a lot of water. Cut off in sugar. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Sugar's not good for you. Too much sugar is not good for you. It's not.
No, sugar is just not good for you at all.
A little bit.
A little bit
bad,
is. Yeah. But like the ones the natural sugars is what is better. Like from like fruits and everything.
Yeah, you want a little bit of sugars in it.
Yeah, but yeah. But like sugar is like the most addicting drug on the earth.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the best way to lose weight too.
Cutting sugars, yeah.
The best way.
I've noticed that's what I was doing. To be honest, I noticed you get a lot of calories from sauce. Like I noticed, I just stopped getting. Oh, word. Getting a phone call over here. This man's. So put that on silent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was saying I noticed you get like a lot of unwanted shit from just sauce, like sugar and just calories and all types of shit, just from using too much sauce.
Well, calories is just the things that everything adds up to.
What do you mean?
Isn't it?
What everything adds up to?
Yeah, right. Or no? Never mind.
I don't know what you're trying to say, so I can't answer that. But anyways, I noticed like just not using sauce. Like if you first of all, I feel like fries in general are not healthy. But if you're gonna get fries, like just eat them fries by themselves. It's like not adding. Ketchup has a lot of sugar, and
Coke soda is the thing you gotta cut off. Is soda.
Yeah, it sucks, but I like the honey mustard from Chick-fil-A. But yeah, low-key had to cut that out because that has a lot too.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's so sweet. How could it not have sugar?
That's true. The Chick-fil-A sauce or actual honey mustard?
I mean, they taste kind of the same, to be honest. To me, they're slightly different, but I feel like they both got.
I'm sure it has honey mustard in it.
I'm pretty sure it does.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure it has that.
But yeah, I noticed that's where a lot of unwanted shit comes in, is the sauces. But that's not what we were gonna talk about today.
Yeah, that just led to that point.
So we just got off topic.
Yeah.
We want to talk about conspiracies and just like what's going on with the world. I feel like we talk about what's going on with the world all the time. At least we used to when we didn't have guests. When it was just us. And we talk about what's going on with the world, but we were talking about it from different perspectives. We talk about technology, and we talk about
we did talk about aliens too.
We talked about aliens. We talked about angels. Oh, we didn't do another religious topic. I've actually had a lot. I've actually had a lot to talk about, to be honest. But save that for another topic. And it's not anything like professional. Like, I'm not a priest. I'm not like that close to the church. But it's just my personal opinions.
I don't think you have to be a priest to be really close.
You don't. But
I feel like
some people, but you have to have that to have credibility. People don't believe you if you're not. People are like, "Who's this guy just talking?"
But even then, I feel like some priests, this is fake, and then they can just say whatever they want. People are gonna believe them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's true too. But I'm saying just having the name priest makes them believe him.
Okay.
I feel like that's what makes you believable to a lot of people. Just having that title, and that's another thing we can get into. I guess is I guess that's a perfect transition to what we wanted to get to was titles, because I feel like people put too much emphasis into titles. Is like, for example, this like with the priest. Say too many people believe just because they have that title, priest, they give them this sense of authority, where. And I'm not knocking all priests. I know it's not all priests, but there have been priests that have been caught, being pedophiles, being child molesters, and a lot of people don't want to believe that just because they're priests. Because too many people put too much emphasis in the title, and they don't want to believe things that they feel like it shouldn't happen. I feel like, I guess they want to deny. They're just in denial, I guess.
See, if I'm gonna be honest, this guy should go into religion now too. I mean, yes, if you guys believe it or not, it's fine. But what I need to do is read the Bible. I haven't really been reading it.
I've been wanting to too. I feel like you can learn a lot.
But what I always wondered is like, because you know how our parents are Catholics and everything. I always wondered, why do we have to go to a priest to tell them our sins and everything like that? Isn't that to God? Are we supposed to tell God about our sins? Why? Because then they say something about like, oh, he's the one that erases the sins. We're not for.
I think there's something to it, like besides just spirituality. I think there's like something like psychologically to it too, because I've noticed when you're confessing things that you've done, I feel like it, like to anyone, and not even just a priest, but I feel like the priest is like they are specialized in that, so that's why you do it to them. But I've noticed just like confessing in general, just like things that you've done, or just like things that you've kept inside. Just I feel like it kind of like takes this weight off your shoulder, and you kind of feel it, like you kind of just feel the difference when it's like when you're telling someone, whereas when you're just like keeping it to yourself, or it's like you're telling God, but you're not really saying it out loud to anyone. So I don't know. I've felt the difference where it's like. It definitely feels better to say things and get things off your chest to actual people. So I feel like that's kind of where that comes from. Okay. That would be my personal opinion, but again, I've never studied, I've never looked into this. This is just what I think. But anyways,
it makes sense though.
It kind of makes sense, right? Yeah. If you think about it.
I still don't think. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I swear, don't quote me on that, but I thought we only had to like. Forgive or like I guess you're saying more like
ultimately spiritually I feel like the only thing that matters is your connection with God. I feel like that's ultimately what matters the most. But we're not gonna get into that right now because we can unless should we just nah.
We're just talking about the other one that you're
saying. We had a topic for today. Let's not switch it up. We can save that for another topic, and we can dive deep into that because I already had things that I wanted to say for this one. About the title. We were talking about titles. This is going to get controversial as fuck. We were talking about religion, and now it's going to become something completely different, but it is what it is. So we were talking about people put too much emphasis in titles, and I've noticed that specifically with people identifying with certain titles. Specifically with some political groups, like, say, like the BLM organization, which is like BLM is like an actual political organization. It's not just an idea, like because and there's that, and then there's like the LGBT whatever, how many letters they added now. I don't fucking know. I can't keep up with that shit. But they have that, and then there's the BLM, and those are just political groups, and they're just titles. And it's like people can either identify with that, or you can't, or you could just like not. But just because you're black or just because you're gay or lesbian or whatever, it doesn't mean you have to identify with that group. Like people put too much emphasis in like wanting to have a certain title to them that they just identify with this group.
Because even a lot of black people don't even support the actual.
Yeah, like I know black people that are against BLM.
So do I know. I know a lot of like gay people that don't like what is called LGBT community. But But the thing is, if you say that, and they're what is called, and even if they're gay, and they're the ones saying it to the community or whatever, they're still gonna get a lot of hate from the community saying like, oh, that you don't like or whatever. Just hate, like hateful stuff, just so they can.
It honestly, it bothers me. It bothers me when people just try to shut you down. Like, and I'm sure a lot of people already clicked off at this episode just because of what I said. But it is what it is. I guess stay ignorant. Because I feel like there are reasons. Like why? Like instead of just straight up hating, because I know there are like for the example of like I know black people that are against BLM. So instead of like other black people see that and they're like, why are you against your own people? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Instead of like getting into that, it's like, why don't you like stop to like actually think like he obviously has to agree with the idea that Black Lives Matter. I like black people that are against BLM don't think that Black lives don't matter. Like that was never the idea. It's just that they don't agree with the organization itself, and you have to really have that critical thinking where it's like, ask yourself, why is that? Instead of just attacking them. It's like, why would a black person be against BLM? And if you actually look into it, there are actually good reasons for it. If you actually like look at, I mean, people don't want to talk about like the riots that happened where they were literally destroying black businesses. Like they were rioting in the streets and they were destroying businesses that black people own. They were destroying their own community. You know like, how could you not be against that?
You know what they said too? It's fine. What is called? They said it's fine. It's the government. We're going against the government. It helps and everything like that.
Yeah.
The government will pay, like help you get it back and stuff. Like, just like that kind
exactly.
of stuff. But some people need like. And some people aren't like that. Like maybe the corporates could be doing that, but like small business, it affects them because they're putting their own money and everything. Like,
but the thing is, even if it is like a franchise, most of the times there's local owners. Like people own just that.
That's true.
That restaurant,
like the franchise.
Yeah, so it's like you're still hurting the local owner. Like you're not hurting like
the actual owner.
These corporations, they're not fucking stupid. They protect themselves from this shit. You're not gonna hurt them that easily. They're not as affected as the people that actually own that specific store.
You know what I think about it too? If you really think about it, corporates they have franchise. So the person that actually owned or created McDonald's, he's just getting benefits from each McDonald's.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
doesn't even own the actual McDonald's.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're not actually hurting the actual McDonald's.
You're hurt. Yeah, I guess you're hurting the person that joined McDonald's to get his own business. But at the end of the day, he's just doing like his own company business to actually get money.
Unless it's an actual corporate location, because I know sometimes corporate actually owns some locations. But even then, I feel like you're not doing that much fucking damage. Like, just it's not worth it. It's not like that's not the fucking answer. Don't go out destroying shit. It's not the answer. But is it cutting off? Yeah, low key. That's another thing that we're working on for the podcast. Is we want to get another camera that can record nonstop.
We got like another 10 minutes.
Another 10 minutes. I mean, might as well just do it now. I mean, it's whatever. Whatever.
I was looking up here where it says episode 27. I guess now you guys know this is episode 27. Yeah, I saw 27. I was like, oh, I was about to end real quick, but the actual time is like down here.
Yeah. So this is episode 27. We stopped keeping
count.
We're keeping count, like because it says on the title of it, but we haven't been saying it on the episodes. I guess we don't really have to be honest. So they already knew when they clicked on this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it says it in the title. But anyways, but yeah, I was saying just because you're black doesn't mean you have to identify with BLM, and just because you're gay, bisexual, whatever, under the umbrella of LGBT, because they keep fucking making it more and more open to the point where literally anyone that exists ever is gonna be part of it now.
Just if you're straight, you know.
Except if you're straight, and you know it. But yeah, just because you identify as you don't. Here's the thing: I feel like you don't have to identify as gay. It's like if you're gay, just be gay. You don't have to. That's not your whole identity. Like I don't know about you, but being straight is not my whole identity.
Yeah.
Like my identity is like. Well, to be honest, damn, that's a deep question. Like my identity, like who are you? But personally, I feel like, and this is like how it's always been throughout history. It's usually been what you do for a living, like what you do, right? So like I personally identify as a musician or a mason because that's what I do. So I wouldn't identify as fucking a straight guy though. That's just like a small portion of who I am. Like I'm not going around like my daily life thinking about the fact that I'm straight, and you shouldn't, because that's not gonna lead to a fulfilling life. You're just gonna feel empty inside because you're trying to make something out of something that's not that big.
You know what I think about too is like I feel like for the LGBT community, like that people that are in it, I feel like they want people to accept them, but yeah, I feel like they don't accept themselves.
Yeah, no, low key, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this.
But the reason why I say that too is because at the end of the day, if you truly love yourself, why does it matter what other people think about you? Like just live the life that you want to live. If people say things, just leave and ignore it or go away. Like people, it's not as easy as it sounds, because I know, but it kind of is as easy as it sounds. It's just don't let it bother you. Like if you really truly love yourself, this goes with anybody. Just straight up with anybody. If you truly love yourself, just do whatever you want to do in life, or just be whoever you want to be. Because nobody gets to say who you can be, who you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I feel like you shouldn't involve other people into your own like situation. Like if you have a problem with yourself, deal it with yourself. Is this you can have people help you, but don't cause more problems. We'll be like, no, you don't accept me, blah blah blah. No, we don't care. You're just making it more of a big deal than it really is.
Yeah, nah. I think a lot of the LGBT people need to realize that most people don't give a fuck. Like, just stop making it your whole personality.
Like, just stop making it like the whole world revolves around you.
And here's the thing:
they're main characters. That's what they that's the.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and here's what I was gonna say. When I said like I feel like people might hate me for saying this. But personally, I think it's just a lazy way of thinking. That makes people kind of want to become part of that group and want to identify as that, because you're too lazy to put in the work yourself to love yourself. Like I guess he was saying, to like validate yourself. You kind of want to put that work off onto someone else. You want other people to do it for you. So you're too lazy to put in the work, because it's not easy. Like when you have like that, because I mean it's not easy to just like come out of that, like, but like he said, you kind of just have to do it, and putting it off to someone else and expecting them to validate you so that you don't have to validate yourself is not the answer, because that just makes you dependent of other people's validation.
Yep, and that goes with social media as well. We were talking about earlier outside, where I was telling him that I feel a lot of people. The reason why is because we started talking about this. Is my people might hate this, but a lot about like we're talking about Andrew Tate, right? And how what it's called, he got blocked off of social media and everything. And low key, if you don't agree with what he says, that's totally fine. You don't have to agree to what he says. But at the end of the day, why does he have to get banned from social media? Like that shouldn't. Be like a deception or anything like. But then what people think is like, oh yeah, now he's off social media. They banned him. They did whatever. You're acting like if that's gonna stop him from living his life that he has, or still be whatever, like just doing whatever. Like what he was telling me before. There's gonna be other platforms that he's gonna be able to go to.
Yeah, they didn't do shit by banning him.
Like you can't take someone off of social media. That's just straight up dictation.
Like they got him off Twitter and YouTube. I don't even know. I never watched this shit, but they banned him. But then he just got onto Rumble, because there's always gonna be someone else that accepts them. Like you can't. I mean, look at Alex Jones. Like they've tried so hard to get rid of him, and he still has a big following. Like if people care about what someone has to say, they're gonna follow them.
I think the same thing with Joe Rogan with, I think, YouTube, or I don't know what it was. How
Joe Rogan?
Yeah, how they, like, especially, like, I think
he's on Spotify. He's good. I
know. Before that, where I think even then was when he was in Spotify, they were trying to tell him to Spotify to, like, take him out.
They were trying to get a few episodes off him. I think is what I heard.
I think it was like artists that were in the. Like, that were, like, on social Spotify. They were like,
you're talking about the artists that were trying to protest. Yeah, they wanted to get him off, but they didn't do shit. Because Spotify knew they had more money than Joe Rogan. So you can't do that shit when you're worth less than him. You gotta be worth more than him to be able to make demands like that. The Spotify's like, fuck off, bro. It was small artists too. It wasn't even like big name artists. That's why Spotify was like, nah, fuck off. So there's more money in Joe Rogan. So yeah, they just, especially since they had the contract that they had, they would have to like pay him off. I think.
And then going back to what I was trying to say too, though, like with social media, is like at the end of the day, like even if also like a lot of people are weak that you can't live off social media. So like let's say with like if someone like took your social media, I'm not saying with everybody. But there's a certain people that if you got rid of social media and everything, would you still be able to love yourself or appreciate yourself, not worrying about other people? Because what social media is just getting other people to get to, I guess, know you, but get to validate you or be there for like I guess there to I guess love you. Well, not like love you, but like you, like validation.
Yeah. Now think about it a lot. Like I feel like
have you ever thought of that? Like, do you ever think about that? Like, can people you think like if our social our generation, like everybody in this like earth, if the social media was good,
there are people that don't use social media in this generation. Okay, there are definitely people that don't use it, but I think about like,
you know how much lives will get better.
Yeah, the reason you don't know about them is because they're off of social media. That's the thing. Yeah. So you've never heard of them because they're not on social media. That's the thing. But yeah, I think about it a lot. I think too many people care about social media, like people in social media and what they care about. And to a certain extent, they are obviously real. But it's like it's not real life, like real life is like your local community, like what you have right here, like these chairs, like this fucking table, like this is real life, like what's immediately in front of you, like this fucking camera that I'm talking into, this mic, looking at the camera, talking into the mic, like this is reality, right? Not the social media, not the Instagram page that we might upload this to eventually, Spotify, not YouTube, like that's just a way of connecting us to other people. The people on the other end of that are reality, but that connection in between, that's just a connection. That's not reality itself, and we put too much emphasis into that. I feel like
with vloggers and everything like that, with like families and everything, I'm not gonna say it's not interesting to watch. I mean, I don't watch it, but I know some people find it interesting to watch. Like some people feel like they're really there. We're just with them, or they prioritize
feels like you're hanging out.
Yeah, but sometimes they prioritize that than the actual stuff, what they can actually be happy with living. Yeah. I saw I think it was like a video where like people were like window shopping.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about that here.
Yeah, vlogging. Yeah, I remember hearing that somewhere where like vlogging is basically like window shopping, where people get to basically window shop different lifestyles, and I mean it's kind of true in a way. But that's how you should look at it. Whereas like you're window shopping, but at a certain point you have to stop window shopping and actually start shopping. It's like, okay, if you like the lifestyle that you're watching this person vlog, how about start actually living that lifestyle instead of just watching someone else do it?
Yeah, like you
might as well try.
You always say you want to do it. Why not just go ahead and do it? People say, but the excuse what people will say, there's always excuses. Excuses. And I'm not gonna say I don't make excuses as well, because there's times where I make excuses, but then I'm like, you know what? You're right. I am making excuses. I know I can. I know I can do it. Like it's just up to me if I really want to. But I know I can do it.
Yeah, I think that winds back up to like the topic too, which is like I think we're and a big problem that we have in today's generation is separation from our minds and what reality is. Like we have too much in our mind of what should be, like what we should be doing, what we want to do. This is the reality that we want to exist in, and we're not focusing enough on the reality that we already exist in. And that goes back to, I guess, the LGBT thing, where it's like with the transgenders, low key. I think that's a whole nother problem. I think the camera's turned off now. Heard it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was supposed to check on it too right now.
But I think that's another problem that we have to deal with. And I think, low-key, if we're going to get into a conspiracy theory part of it, and this part might be the part that gets us fucking thrown off of YouTube.
Maybe.
But
maybe go on Spotify.
I genuinely believe that, like, part of this agenda that's being pushed onto people, where they trying to promote this idea of transgenderism, is kind of like they're trying to confuse people. They're trying to, like, disconnect people even more from reality. It's like the people are being taught that you can be whatever gender you want. If you just identify as a female, or you just identify as a male, you can be that if you want. All you have to do is identify. You don't even have to do any surgery. Sometimes they could just say you can still have a dick and say you're a woman, because reality is whatever you want it to be. And that's straight up bullshit. And I think part of that, the reason why I'm against transgenderism, because a lot of people are like, well, just let people do whatever they want. But I'm against that, because that leads people towards what I was just talking about, which is like that disconnection from reality. And it's like ultimately, I don't believe in government getting involved in people's lives, right? So I am kind of iffy on that topic of, like, you know, allowing people to do this shit to themselves versus, you know, having the government be like, no, you can't do this shit to yourself. But at the same time, it's like you have to let people really know all of the truth.
I feel like
people don't know all of the truth behind this, because there are people that have done this, and they have done this transition, they have gone through surgery, and they end up regretting it, and this is a life-changing decision that they can't take back. So it's like, you gotta inform these people, like, this is what you're signing up for. It's like, really let them know, like, what they're really signing up for, and if they still want to do that as adults, go ahead, I guess.
And that's what I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, like, if they're little, if they're kids, let them, if they want to be gay, let them be gay, I guess.
Dude, there's no problem with gay. There's not, like, I don't have a problem with being gay.
But don't influence them to change to another gender, like itself, like go sexual, like go straight up go to process. Especially, you shouldn't even be teaching kids those at the young age.
Yeah, my big problem with that. Sorry, go ahead.
Like, but that's the thing. Like, that's a big problem. Is I would not want my kids being taught that. Like, why would any parent want the kids being taught that? But then the people that are from there, like, they are transgender, or they're gay, or whatever it is,
they'll call you a bigot.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, you're just hating everything like that. You don't want people to know.
You know what though?
About our situation and everything. Like, no, I don't. Yeah, it's still my child. I want to teach him what I want to teach it. Like, I don't want you to teach him that.
Exactly. That actually leads to what I was gonna say too. Anyways, so, which was that what I would reply to those people, because those people, part of the LGBT, the transgenders mostly, are the ones that would be against that. Would be like, why don't you want your kids being taught that? What if that's how they identify? You don't want them to be the best version of themselves? I want them to be the best version of themselves here in reality. I want them to be here in reality, first of all. It's like, I would love for them to be the best version of themselves here in reality. I don't want them living in some fantasy world where they can be whatever they want. And I'm sorry if that comes off harsh, but that's what it is. It's just a fantasy that you're living. You know, you can't actually be a different gender. Can't actually change that. I'm sorry if that's harsh. And I think we need to actually stop looking at that as harsh. I think, to be honest, they've kind of twisted it to make it seem like we're the ones being harsh and they're the ones being compassionate. And they're the ones that care. It's like, why do you guys not care about it? It's like, I think it's the other way around. I feel like you guys are the ones that don't care, because at the end of the day, what do I have to gain from talking people out of being transgender? Nothing. What do they have to gain from it? There's fucking medical institutions that are making bank off this shit. You become a patient for life. Like, now you have to take all these pills. You have to do this surgery. All these expensive ass surgeries. Drugs. You know, you're basically becoming a patient for life. Like, you're giving your life to them. So it's like, I don't have anything to gain from this. I'm just trying to help you not make this life-regret decision.
Okay. The thing is, this is what I'm saying though. When you get above an age where you're like above 20 something, whatever, and you really believe that's what you want to do, okay, people shouldn't stop you from doing that. But you shouldn't influence little kids, to become that. Even if they're already young, like they should be able to live on their own to have all that kind of decisions. Not little kids making them like, hey, no, you gotta do this, or maybe you're this and that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fucked when you're doing it to kids.
They're making pills to block
hormone blockers, puberty blockers,
puberty blockers. Those like drugs. And no, well, when a doctor was saying, no, I don't do that. I give out medication, and everything like that. And I was like, no, those are drugs. That's drugs.
That's
fucked. Drugs right there. That's fucked right there.
I'm sorry. I'm putting it bluntly. I don't care. So you're playing experiments with little kids. Like, these things have not been tested on people.
You want that to be with your kids, though.
Like,
maybe if you want to teach your kids, hey, this is how this is like the lessons and all that. That's fine, because I feel like you should like teach your kids that, hey, this is what I am. Yeah. This is what I do. Yeah. But you shouldn't force them to do the same thing that you did.
You know what it is too, though. It's like these people are they're hypocrites, because these are the people that'll tell you gender roles are, things that they made up, like are just social constructs, right? Mm-hmm. Like gender roles don't exist, right? Like the man doesn't have to be the breadwinner, the money maker, and the woman doesn't have to be the homemaker, right? Like that's not how it has to be. Those aren't, because gender roles are just something that society made up. But as soon as someone starts displaying gender roles of the other gender, you're like, oh, you're that gender. You're transgender because you're showing these you're showing these gender roles. So that means you're transgender. Like if a guy all of a sudden if a guy's more nurturing, for example, he likes to take care of kids more. People are like, oh, well, maybe you're a woman. What happened? I thought gender roles didn't exist. Now all of a sudden they do.
Yeah, so not transsexual, transgender. Because transgender is like the whole gender. Like,
yeah. Transsexual is when you do the surgery.
Yeah.
It's just confusing as fuck, bro. And that's part of it. They want you to be confused, so you just go along with it. To be honest.
At the end of the day, like, what if your wife is the one that became successful? I don't know.
I mean, look, I'm not against that. If a woman's a bread maker, she's a bread maker. I'm not against that. But I'm saying they're hypocrites because they try to flip that on you. They try to flip it where it's like, say, like females, for example, or like if a male starts playing with Barbies, they immediately start thinking like he's trans because he's playing with Barbies.
He thinks he's a girl.
He must be a girl. He's secretly trying to become a girl. So you let him just grow up as a guy. He might grow out of that for all you know. And even if he doesn't, so what? He could still be a guy. He could be a gay guy. He doesn't have to live. He could still live in reality though. He doesn't have to, start changing. Start thinking he's a woman now.
But this is what people have. Some people have problems with that as well, because if they see their boys playing with Barbies, they'll be like, "Yo, no, this is not for you. This is for girls."
That's something they personally have to deal with, I guess. Because I do agree. Like you can't some people would be like, yes, you have to raise your son to be traditionally masculine, and to a certain extent, there are some truths to that. Like if you're a male, I feel like you should be raised by your parents to just like be more mentally strong. But I don't think necessarily playing with Barbies means that you're not mentally strong. You know what I'm saying? Like you could still be, still have that mental.
You don't have to play with Barbies. You can play with like other guy toys, like army toys.
Yeah, but that. I'm sorry, that just threw me off from like the point that I was saying.
Sorry.
But yeah. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what the point I'm saying is though, is like it doesn't matter what toys you play with. But
no, yeah, that did go off a different road.
But I do believe that there's definitely there's good. Like you get good out of it. There's merit, I guess, to raising your kids traditionally, because you're kind of otherwise. You're kind of playing against your strengths, and not always. Like I said, sometimes if a guy just naturally he's more feminine, let him lean into it. It's fine. He can be gay, but it doesn't mean he's a woman. At the end of the day, he's still a man, and you got to teach him certain things as a man. Because look, and there's certain things like I was raised like this as a man, and I'm sure you as well. where like anytime I would go out with my sisters, my parents would be like, "You just gotta make sure that they're safe," because I'm physically the strongest. It's not because I'm just fucking out here working my ass off at the gym to become harder. I'm a male, okay? It's just natural, okay? And I'm not saying my sisters are weak, but it's just natural. You can't deny reality. I'm just physically stronger than both of them, and so that just puts me in the position to be the bodyguard of the group, I guess. If anything if anything goes down, if I have to fight someone, I'm the one that has to fight. I'm obviously not gonna let my fucking sisters fight. It is what it is.
That's fucked up if you do too.
It is what it is. Like you just gotta take your strengths and work with them. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but I feel like that's the end of my thought.
No, I feel like everything. I agree with a lot of things that you say. Because I feel like it's just the truth too. People would need to realize and open their eyes to it too. But a lot of people, they're blind to a lot of things that happen in the world or in social media or whatever it is. They just believe whatever people tell them. Like even with us, we're telling you what we think and what I guess is best for us, what we think is best. But it doesn't mean you gotta, I guess, listen, because like at the end of the day, it's
just our opinions too. Yeah.
But I feel like what I feel like is I feel like our opinion is more of like the opinion to actually help a lot of other people. Like our intention is to help like everybody, but it's not gonna reach out to everybody.
Yeah. Honestly, what I
whoever
say,
it does, I'm glad it changes or opens up your eyes or whatever it is.
What I say is I want to be I just want everyone to be the best version of themselves. All right, like everyone, just be the best version of yourself that you can be, and part of that means being here in reality and doing what you can here in reality, not trying to tell yourself that things should be this way or things should be the other way. How are things here in reality, and what can you do with it here? How
Because the same way you think, you can still bring that into reality. Like if you're thinking a certain way, you can still kind of bring it into reality. But like But if you don't have it in reality yet, how are you gonna do it where you can't bring it to reality? Is what you gotta do. You gotta make everything's a problem. Everything you have to find a solution.
Yeah. I mean, this is a little bit off topic, but it's kind of connected. But I've been thinking about this throughout the week because, like, low key, I think about, like, if I'm ever gonna make, this record label, go anywhere that I'm working on, or this podcast, to be honest, if it's ever gonna get big and be a success story, we just gotta start treating it like it's a realistic thing, because I think about it a lot, like, for every celebrity, for everyone, every big business, everyone who's ever done something like huge, something really ambitious, at some point in their life, it went from being unrealistic to being realistic. Like at some point in every celebrity's life, right? Like you listen to any musician, any artist, and even athletes, like think about Messi, Ronaldo. At some point in their life, being the biggest fucking soccer player in the world was unrealistic. But then at some point it changed and it became a realistic goal. So you just gotta look at it like that. Like stop trying to treat it like it's unrealistic, and you just gotta push for that. Because at some point it does become realistic. You just gotta push for that.
You gotta wait. People expect everything to come soon, quick like this.
But you can't just give up just because it seems unrealistic.
Just because
it was unrealistic for everyone at some point.
Just because it's taking a long time doesn't mean it's not gonna come. It's the journey. Like people say, it's the journey, not the destination. You're appreciating the journey to get to wherever you want to get. Because then when you do get to the place where you want to get, you get to enjoy it even more. But if you get just to the place that you wanted to get, you're like, oh, I already got to it. You don't feel joy or anything, so that it still leads to people into depression and everything. Because they're like, I've been trying to get this the whole time, but then I got it like this, and then it just doesn't feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like I either deserve or whatever it is. Like
that too. So you definitely want to work for it and not just have it fall in your lap. Like it happens a lot with like lottery ticket winners, or is that they just become rich. and they just blow all their money, and then they become depressed, and they end up worse than before they won the lottery. Just because you gotta. There's lessons that you learn along the way. I think is what it is, to be honest, and you gotta learn those lessons.
I'll say this too: it's about money. This is off the topic, but this is about money, and hopefully this helps. Because I just started thinking right now. I was listening, but I started thinking in my head that the way I'm starting to try to look at things is put your money into things, and a lot of people say this too. Put your money into things that, because if you have a bank account, you're always gonna see your account go up or down, all right. So if especially with the lotteries, because you said if the people won the lottery, let's say if you did win the lottery. People spend all of it because they think that's a lot of money, and then, which it is. It is a lot of money, but people think it's like, oh yeah, I have all the money now, and they end up spending it on everything. Or spending money on their family, whatever. They're not thinking about, okay, this is how much I got in my bank account now. You're gonna have to still pay for things eventually because of taxes and everything. You're gonna still pay for things. So how am I gonna? If I those things that are coming out of my bank account, what can I put into things that over time money's gonna keep on coming into the bank account where it goes up instead of going down?
Yeah.
If you have to put money into something that you're gonna invest in, and you know that it's gonna bring you money, it might take a good chunk of it, but you're thinking of long term of this is gonna it's gonna bring in the money that I spent on it, the money that I invested in, and it's gonna eventually make me more money from there. Those are the best options to put your money into.
You know what's interesting is that reminds me a lot of Shaquille O'Neal. He low-key, that's something that I noticed that he tries to advocate to young football players, because he went through that, where that happens to apparently a lot of athletes, a lot of football players.
But nobody's talking about financial stuff.
Yeah, because they'll get rich. They'll get signed onto it. They'll get a signing bonus. They'll get rich. They'll blow their money,
party,
and then they eventually, because especially with football, you don't get to play for that many years. But just sports in general, to be honest, you don't get to play that many years. You get 10 years is a stretch, to be honest. Playing 10 years for professionally, that's a good amount. And it's that's not that long of your life, so you got to make that money last. And that's a problem that apparently for a lot of athletes, whereas they become, rich, but then once they stop playing, they go back to not being, not having that much money. And, now they can't even play, soccer to make money. So that's why a lot of people end up going into coaching and different things like that, because you gotta be smart with it. You gotta, keep the momentum going, I guess. And that's something that that Shaquille O'Neal, advocates to players. And that's why he talks to them about investing and shit. And I mean, I'm sure you guys, everyone has noticed Shaquille O'Neal's in fucking every fucking commercial. He does deals where he does the Dollar General, or
really,
or not the Dollar General, what is it, the General, the insurance commercial.
Oh yeah,
he does a lot. Yeah,
I think
he does a lot of things like that, but that's why, because he was let's keep the momentum going. He's right now that I have attention on me, I can, he's while he was famous, he took advantage of it.
Didn't he lose all his money too?
Did he?
Was it Mike? I know Mike Tyson.
He went. Yeah, I think he went through that. That's why he advocates it for other people. Because I mean, that's
no. Someone told him. He's like, hey, I just saw that. I think it was his visor.
Oh yeah, that story where he was buying cars for everyone. I remember that story. He said he bought himself a car, and then he bought his mom a car, I think. Then his dad, or I don't know. He was buying a bunch of people cars, and then he just blew through all his money, instantly. And that's when he was like, I need to get smart about this shit. And he started telling other people, and I honestly, I respect that, because he could have just kept that to himself. He could have been like, I'm gonna be smart with my money and just let other people fuck up. But he's out there, he's trying to help other people, and I respect that.
I respect that too. I mean, it happened to Kevin Hart too, because I was watching a video where he was saying that, I don't know if it was an interview or it might have been an interview, how he made a couple $100 or a couple $1 million one of the first show, and then when they give him whatever it is, he spent all of it, and then they called him hey, like IRS or like taxes, like this is how much you owe. I was like, wait, what? I thought we keep all of it. No, because this is what it is.
You got fuck with taxes.
You know what it is. You know what it is. You know how, especially this is what happens when you win big in like stocks and all that or whatever it is whenever you win, you still have to pay your little dues to the taxman.
Of course, always.
But I guess that's the thing. Like, I think Kevin Hart didn't know. So everything. This is what it is with small businesses as well. If you try to own a small business, this is what you got to be careful about.
But the whole system's fucked.
Yeah.
Like set up against people.
Yeah. So pretty much, he used all the money that he won, and then he still ended up owing taxes. Because he didn't like
That's ridiculous, man. Taxation is theft, straight up. But
if you really know how to do it right, and a lot of people do that have a lot of money, this is the people that hate them. It's because they know how to play the game to not pay taxes. There's certain ways where you can do where you.
That's what I'm saying. The game's rigged because, like, of course they set it up so that they can do it legally. They can legally not pay taxes. They just have to know all the secrets. They set it up that way so that they can do it, but other people, like, if you don't know, you don't know. But they know. The people that set it up know, of course.
No, a lot. We have access to it too.
No, that's what I'm saying. But now people are knowing because of the internet.
Yeah.
Before the age of the internet, that's what I'm saying. Like, this system was always set up to be against people, the smaller, working class, who don't have time to study all this shit. They're over there working, doing whatever job.
I feel like everybody has time.
Nah, not back then. You have the internet now. I'm talking about back then. Like, the internet's pretty recent, bro. It's not like.
Yeah, you're right.
Compare like
2012.
Yeah, like we grew up with the internet still becoming pretty mainstream. So it's not that it's not that old. That's why I'm saying, since the system was set up, like, it's always been like, if you know the tax loops, and you can get rich, and if you don't, then you're fucked.
But the thing is too, though, I still feel like there's a lot of books that still taught you. And if you're telling me that they didn't have time to like read books, like even like for a certain amount of like minutes per day, I still feel like it's just the right. They're only really the right people to influence people to know that.
Yeah.
But like, there's ways that if you really have the dedication and really want to,
that's if you're lucky though, because you're not always gonna have that opportunity.
But the books.
I mean, you're still thinking. Look, you're still thinking about pretty recent, like back like when this was like first.
How?
Like when this country, the 17,
yeah. Okay.
When the system was first created, right?
George Washington and all that, like that.
The Freemasons, bro. The Freemasons created this shit. Like, the Freemasons created this country, and it's undeniable. It's not even a conspiracy theory. They leave their symbolism all over. Like
we can always take the government over too, because it says right there that the Declarations of Independence.
It does.
If it ever leads to the government doing something, we can always.
Yeah, it's technically constitutional to fight against the tyrannical government. So, if we wanted to, we could fight a revolutionary war, and the Constitution would back us up.
That's why we can't get rid of it.
We need to emphasize, we're not calling for that. Okay, we're not calling for that. So YouTube, don't try to fucking ban us or anything.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, but that's why we can't get rid of our amendments or like any of that kind of stuff. Those are the things that are helping us out to like.
Yeah.
I feel like chaos not to happen.
Yeah, that's facts.
That's our rights right there. And once you get rid of our rights, you're able to get controlled by anything. By the government.
Yeah. Yeah, but people have to get educated. That's the thing. And like you said, like now people can, but back then, like back then, a lot of people weren't even literate back then. So it's like that whole idea of like getting books, like you couldn't even do that shit.
Yeah.
A lot of those people weren't even literate. So it's like that wasn't even an idea of like self-improvement. It's like the thing about self-improvement is like you gotta help. Someone has to help you to a certain extent. You can't self-improve when you're too, like if you don't know how to read, you're not gonna self-improve that much. Like you can try to figure it out, but you kind of need someone to help you with that. I don't know. At least that's what I think. Maybe there's someone out there that can prove me wrong. So teach yourself how to read and shit without knowing any languages at all. But I think at a certain stage, like you do need someone to help you. I mean, and that like really, if you really wanted to look back all the way, obviously, I think it's obvious. Like this is obvious because babies need someone to help them. Like babies can't fucking self-improve.
Yeah.
So this is obvious. Like at a certain like a certain stage, you need to help someone to a certain stage, and then at that point, that's when they need to take it upon themselves and start self-improving. And I think it depends. Every stage, you gotta do different amounts of self-improving. Because I think obviously, like as a little kid, you're not doing much on your own. It's kind of just your parents, taking care of you. But as you get older, you gotta have to as you're like for example, you're in middle school, in high school, you're a teenager. It's still on you to self-improve on your grades and shit, obviously, but it's not on you to self-improve on your financial situation. That's still on your parents. But so I feel like as you get older, you kind of take on more responsibility for yourself until you become an adult, and that's where it's like you're on your own. You can't. And because Loki, the reason I'm thinking about this is because I was thinking about this other episode of another podcast that I was listening to, by a close friend of ours. He was a guest on here before. His name is Yonis. Name of the podcast
shout
is
out Yonis.
Todo Tranquilo. Podcast. Shout out
Todo Tranquilo.
I was listening to that, but I think that's where I heard this conversation where they're talking about when you're like a kid at a certain age, like you're kind of just like, it's just like what your parents raise you to be. You're kind of just what your parents raise you to be. But then I was thinking to a certain extent, at a certain age, you got to take responsibility for yourself.
Yes.
And that's what I was getting at. As you get older, as you get older, you got to take more and more responsibility for yourself. So as you're younger, you're taking less responsibility, and you're just like I was saying, in school, you're kind of just responsible for your grades. You're not responsible for your financial situation yet. But as you get older, you get to that. And sometimes even in middle school and high school, you're not exactly responsible for your attitude. Sometimes if you're you grow up in a shitty household, you have shitty abusive parents, maybe you're gonna have a shitty outlook towards life, right? So maybe if you're a shitty person, you're not exactly 100% responsible for that. But as you're becoming an adult, none of that matters. Okay, you're an adult now. Doesn't matter if you had a shitty childhood. You gotta take responsibility for yourself.
I feel like once you turn 21, though, it's really everything where you should really take more responsibility for yourself.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in this generation haven't got there yet.
Yeah,
mentally.
18 to 20, even to 21, you got out of high school, now you start to figure everything out. But I still feel like you shouldn't. Those are the times to actually give your time.
That's when you start.
Yeah, you should start journey. Start to realize things and change things if you really need to. But until you get to I feel 28, 30, that's when you really should start this is really what I got to do. Really me and everything.
I don't know. I feel like 21 is already where you can start taking responsibility.
No,
for your
I say take responsibility, but fully, I feel until 28, 30 because.
I don't know. I think 25 is the oldest when you should really start taking full responsibility. What
do you mean full responsibility though?
Well, what are you talking about when you say fully?
No, let me know.
Because I'm thinking you're 100% responsible. To be honest, I would say 20, 21, even 18. To be honest, I'm just giving people some leeway because some people mature a little slower. But I think,
but we don't fully mature until 25. Our brains, at least.
Yeah, but that's developed. You don't fully develop. But I feel like you could be mentally mature before then.
I don't know. I feel like for men, it takes a little bit longer.
That could be up to.
I feel like for girls, it takes even way longer.
Nah. That's just today's generations because people used to mature more back then. I feel like today's generations, we just don't want to mature, to be honest. And just the society in general.
Our generation, yes.
Because people used to be mature back in their 16s.
But even then, I'd say
16-year-olds would be mature as fuck already.
But there's still a lot of people that I've met that are in their 40s, 30s, and everything, like they're still not.
But that's still part of like today's society. They're still influenced by like, today's society, like because social media makes you not want to mature, and just like just everything in society is what makes you not want to mature. Because like there were times like back then, like during the world wars, like there were 16-year-olds that were trying to sign up for the war. Like those people were mature as fuck. Like they were trying to fight for their country already.
I still feel like you don't know if they're really mature, but then. I mean, that could make them mature, though.
It makes you real mature, I feel like, because that's real life experiences, and I think that's what makes you mature. It's like having that wisdom, and you get wisdom from real life experiences, and that's as real as it gets.
I do agree to that.
That's as real as it gets right there. So I think they definitely were made to mature.
That's why going back to what we said is the best thing to do is stay in this reality or this. Like reality, whatever
you get wisdom from it.
You get wisdom, you get mature, and then from there you can pass that on to other people too.
Yeah,
help other people.
I think that's the best thing is you get wisdom from living in the real world. Stop trying to like escape reality and just learn from it. That's really what wisdom is. It's just learning how reality works. To be honest,
is always good. Messing up is always good. Don't let people tell you that messing up and failure is bad, because at the end of the day. They're the ones if they're the ones doing bad at things, they're the ones that they have that mentality that they're never gonna get better. Failing and messing up is the thing that improves you, and doing things will lead you to either success. Yeah, no, to lead you to success, because you're learning from your mistakes. You're learning from the things that you're messing up with, and but the thing is, if you don't realize what you're messing up with, you're just gonna keep repeating because you don't see where you're. You have to. I don't know. So I'll give you an example, because I don't really like. I was gonna say it, but because I work at a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
I have a manager where what is called, people call him a dick, but look, I fuck with him. But he calls you. He's people say he's a dick because if you're doing he'll call you out. Like if you're doing something wrong. He'll tell you you're doing something wrong. He'll say it like in a kind of like an attitude way though, but what he's saying is like true. Like whatever he's saying it's true. And he tells you what you're doing wrong, like what you can do. But he like I said, just because of the way he says it is what it's called. People their ego goes over and they're like, nah, no.
I mean. Yeah, like that's definitely a big part of it is their ego, but also that's on him too, because you gotta know how to present the information.
No,
if you're giving it with attitude, that's also partially on you, because obviously you gotta swallow your ego and your pride. And like if someone's giving you criticism, but if they're being a dick about it too, that's a different thing.
That's just more of criticism, but they just have his voice is just like.
So it's the way he's saying it. He's giving them attitude, low key. So because you gotta keep in mind. It's not just about the information; it's also about the delivery. So it could be both. I feel like because I think the thing is, if everyone has a problem with it, it's probably not just their ego; it's probably him, the way he's giving it too. If everyone's saying that there's a problem, it's probably because he's saying it like an asshole or like way he's saying it.
Okay, but this is the thing. Ever since because every time I realized like I didn't like him at first either because of that situation. But then I realized he was right though. Like I was
I'm hip.
Wait. He was like I was like so I started fixing it. And like for me I feel like he's one of his favorites there.
Look, I get that he might be well, he's right. He's right. Yeah. I'm not saying that.
But even then, even after like out of work, people think he's like a bad guy. But honestly he's one of the chillest dudes too.
That's what I'm saying. It's probably just the way that he delivers shit. He just doesn't know how to. Maybe the way he says things, he says things with, it sounds like he's giving attitude. I mean, I personally don't know him, but if everyone is saying that, I mean, it's probably because, there's something to it.
But, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's more of the younger girls, if I were to be honest. But I don't blame them though, because they're like maybe like high school stuff, so it's like.
I don't know. Like I said, I personally don't know him. So I'm just saying from what you're saying, like, there's probably a little bit of both. Like, I'm not saying, like, I'm not denying that what he's saying is probably right. Especially if they're, like, high school people. Their high school employees almost always fucking up. So he's probably right about correcting them.
No,
but he might just have as well. But like, yeah, he might just have to like improve on the way he tells them. You know, even if he thinks he's being nice about it. You know, and then, like I said, I don't know because there are some people that it's just you could tell them in the nicest way, and they're just gonna take it in the wrong way.
No, but then if you tell them something like you said, yeah, if you say it in a nice way, sometimes they just don't. They still don't care.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, like I said, I don't know the situation. There's definitely sometimes where people are they just don't like to be criticized at all.
I don't even know, low-key, I already forgot what I was trying to explain this to be from what I was saying from before. Like, what was I, like, why did I bring this up?
Because you gotta learn how to take criticism, I guess is what you were saying.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. But you also gotta learn how to give it properly, is what I was trying to say too. It's both.
Yes.
It's both.
Exactly. There you go. No, I agree though. Like, some people, like, I have the same problem as well. Like, there's sometimes I need there's sometimes where there's people, I guess me personally, I'm like, I say I'm like a really nice guy. And for me is, even though I have a family member and everything like that, I sometimes if I see them doing something wrong, it doesn't hurt me, but like I just feel bad if I say something that they're doing wrong, because I feel like they're gonna like get mad. Even if they get mad, it's okay for them to get mad, but I'm just telling them I feel like what they're doing wrong. Doesn't mean they had to like listen or whatever, but sometimes I feel like I can't say anything to. It doesn't have to be with family. It can be with anybody. They get mad if I tell them like something that I feel like they could do better in or they can improve. But I'm not saying it to be a dick. I'm telling you, I'm saying it just to help. But people take like I said, a lot of people take it to offense.
It's about delivery.
And even then, I don't even say it like I try not to say it in a dick way, but then because of how I am, I get nervous. I kind of mess it up, and then it comes out.
That's what it is too. It comes anxiety.
It comes off like me saying it like being like a dick.
But I think part of that is learning how to articulate your thoughts, to be honest, and just learning how to put what you're thinking into words. Because a lot of times, if you're trying to say something to someone and you just try to pick out the important parts, and that's what makes you sound, I feel like, a dick. Whereas like, just say exactly what you're thinking. Just say exactly what's going through your mind. Just say exactly that. And sometimes you know, because at the end of the day, what I've noticed, and it's kind of true, is ultimately your intentions shine through when you let them. Like if you genuinely feel a certain way when you tell someone, like it will come out that way. If you actually say what you're thinking, you know, use the words that are in your head, you know, when you're thinking about it, as opposed to like trying to, I guess, and it's hard because I've been in that position where it's like sometimes your mind just goes blank. You're like, fuck, what was I gonna say? How was I gonna say it? And it's like you don't know. You
like,
struggle.
You know what? Never mind. Fuck.
But I think part of that has to do with the fact that this society hasn't really grown up in real life socialization. Like a lot of us socialize through the internet.
So yeah, especially with COVID too. Yeah. COVID happening.
So I feel like that's what makes it hard for people to really articulate, because it used to come naturally. It should be natural. It's a natural thing for people.
Another thing that I see though too is like if someone does come up to you and say something that you're doing or whatever it is doing wrong or could help or improve, what they'll do is be like, oh, but you do this and this and that and that. Like they'll come off like hard
start attacking you.
Like if that's how you feel, okay, but the way you should come off, like you said, it's how you come out and be like, okay, then this is like, if anything, like I feel like you should this and that to you too, whatever. And he'd be like, oh, okay, I didn't see that. Now that you say that, I could try to see if I'm doing it or whatever. I'll try to notice it more.
Yeah.
If I'm actually doing it. Because like I said, like you don't have to take anybody, like you don't have to, like, it's just them saying whatever they want, but it just depends on you how you take it in. Because at times you're like, oh, maybe you do it, maybe you don't. But then you could still, if you really think about it, it can like help you out in certain ways. I don't know. Just
all this to say, and wrap it up with the theme of this episode, I guess. Keep your head in reality.
Keep your head in reality.
So that's gonna be the title of this episode. Just keep your head in reality.
And hopefully for the next podcast, we have someone on.
Yes, hopefully we can have a guest for next podcast. I think honestly, I started realizing I have more fun with the guest. Like I love these podcasts. Don't get me wrong, but it's just so much fun having a guest. I just think it's so much fun having these conversations with like someone else, and I would love. Not that I don't like talking to you, bro. It's not like that.
That hurts.
But we already have these conversations all the time. It's like
because we talk about this like off of work.
Yeah, like this off the podcast. This is just a regular conversation to us, so it's nothing special. So it's like when we have a guest, it's like, oh, okay, something like we got a guest. Like I'm excited to like try something new. Especially hopefully in the future if we can get like people like meet new people that we've never met. It's like I would love that, just to actually like meet someone on the podcast and just like have questions to ask them about different shit.
I just hope that when you come to our podcast, though, these are our opinions. No place to get offended or anything like that. And if you do get offended,
we're gonna be that podcast that turns into a fist fight. So
yeah.
I don't want to be that.
If you have a problem with it, then fuck off. This kid. No, I feel like everybody should be able to express how they feel, and if you don't agree to it, it's okay to not agree to it, but doesn't mean...
Yeah, no, but yeah, I think if we're ever gonna have those type of guests where it's like new actual guests, I feel like that's a turning point in this podcast where we're like, we gotta be more professional with our shit and have an actual setup. I don't want to bring people into this and be like, what the fuck is this?
No. Yeah.
So I want to have the actual shed, and they're like, okay, this is a professional podcast. I want them to think it's legit, you know? It is legit. So
it is legit, but...
I want them to see it and be like, okay, this is legit.
We think it's legit, but other people might not think it's legit.
I don't want them to come in here and be like, what the fuck is this? What did I just sign up to? This podcast? Like, what am I on?
Is this really even a podcast?
It's like, how many people even listen to your shit?
Yeah, I know. Fuck you. This is a real.
So you don't have to be a guest, bro.
Yeah. You can leave. You don't want to be here. Shit, we're
already beefing with our imaginary guests already. So we're not gonna get anyone on here.
Fuck you, Jeffrey.
Fuck you, Jeffrey.
But yeah.
Just in case there's any Jeffreys on here, we weren't talking about you. This was a made up Jeffrey. But
well, were we? You know who we're talking about? Fuck you, Jeffrey. I know you.
I actually know a Jeffrey too.
Oh shit.
That's the only reason I was thinking. I was like, I know a Jeffrey, and I might think about getting him on the podcast. It's like,
when we get him on the podcast, fuck you, Jeffrey. I was talking to you. Remember? Yeah, remember that episode 27?
27? Yeah.
I was talking about you.
Yeah. I was thinking about you specifically. We're about to get into a fist fight. Nah, he's cool though.
World star.
Nah, he was in my photography class, but
oh, nice.
Yeah, we could talk to him someday, eventually. But we're gonna wrap this shit up. Thank you for tuning in, guys, and tune in next week. Hopefully, by next week, we'll see.
Yeah, tomorrow.
We'll have something. We're gonna make some purchase because we already got the bank account. We're gonna put money in there. We're gonna do something with that. Either mic setup or interface, maybe merch. We're gonna surprise you with something new. So we're gonna hit you something new next week, hopefully. Either next week or the week after.
Even though we're recording this a while.
Yeah, well, but then when they see it, it's gonna be the next week too.
I know.
So it's gonna be the same. It doesn't matter.
I know, but it feels weird when we. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nah, I get what you're saying because technically they're not gonna see this shit until like 2 weeks, I think.
Is it? No, it's like 5 weeks.
No, we don't got that many episodes pre-recorded. We got like 2 or 3.
We're on episode 27 right now. The one we upload is 22.
Shit, you're right. Tomorrow's going up 23.
Yeah, I think that we got
4. Yeah, we're up 4 episodes then.
Yeah.
Shit, we're good at 4 episodes then. So, just in case an emergency comes. So you guys know these are 4 weeks. Recording this like a month in advance. I feel like that's too much. Loki, should we not record next week? No, we already have a guest.
Yeah.
Should we just? And Loki, I think I already have a guest for the next week after too.
I guess we gotta keep going.
So all right. I feel like we should Loki every 2 weeks because I don't want to be too ahead. Because then, like, if we ever bring up like something that happened, like a current event, it's gonna be late.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, that shit happened last month. What the fuck are you guys talking about?
Well,
Like, it just happened today when we were recording, bro.
Yeah.
Stop. It's like,
we might be late, but we're on time in real life.
So
in real life, in reality.
Speaking, yeah, keep your head in reality.
Yeah, kid. Yeah.
Back to the theme of the episode. Keep your head in reality.
All right, and we're out. Peace.
And we're out. Peace. Yes.